All right, thanks, Nick. Alrighty, well, good afternoon, everyone. Has everyone taken a basics class? Okay, who has not? And that's fine if you haven't. Okay, that's fine. So Ben, no questions from you. Okay, so no. This is more of Matrix, but what I'd like to get started with is kind of a recap of the basics a little bit of how to do a search, save a search for your client, and then save it as an auto email, and then we'll take it from there. I just do want to make one little adjustments to our outline that we have. I like to start off with section 2 first, okay? And then I'll do section 1, and then we'll jump into the regularly scheduled program, as you can see up here, okay? So that's where we're going to get started at with this. So hopefully you've all been using this system, right, for the last month. And so now you're probably seeing where you're getting stuck at and where you got problems at and stuff. So please let me know as we go through this. This is a smaller class. Yesterday's class we had like 60-something and then 80-something, so it's not as bad. I still like to keep the questions kind of contained, but I do want to encourage questions too. So feel free to speak out. But if we get off track and stuff, that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to get out of control to where we're jumping around so much. I like to kind of keep it specific as possible, and I'll try my best to keep it in line there. Okay. We all know how to log in, right? Okay. If not, you must come to the first class for that one. Okay. Okay. So we all know how to log in. Like I said, what I like to do is just kind of start as a little recap and we'll build on this and go from there. Because as I've been doing this class, this more of Matrix class, I don't want to assume that we all understand the basics there. So just as a recap, how you save a search for a client, whether it's an auto email or a saved search. And let me ask this question. Under my matrix, do we all know the difference between an auto email and a saved search?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks for your honesty. Okay, the difference, because this is very fundamental, very core to the system, and that's why I'm rehashing it now, because even though we covered it in the basics, I still want to make sure everyone understands the difference here. Both of these are saved searches. These are inactive searches. Okay, and I kind of wish we would call it inactive searches. These are active searches. Okay, these are the ones that are auto prospecting, hence the word auto in the name of it. They're auto emailing your clients every time it finds a new match, price change, status change. If it's under saved searches, they are not auto prospecting. Okay, they're saved. They may be linked to a client. They may not be linked to a client, but they're not auto prospecting. Okay. So that is the very fundamental basics here of these two options. These are auto prospecting, they're active, they're moving, they're finding new results, and these are not. Okay? So, let's do a search for my client. And I'm trying to think of a new client here that I haven't used already. I've been doing so many of these clients here.
Can I give you one?
Yes.
Someone wants a house that's 250 to 350.
Okay.
It only has 2 MLS areas they're interested in.
Okay.
But they would like to have a pool.
Okay.
Or a yard big enough to put a pool.
Wow, okay. Man.
Those are the kind of things we get.
Angelica, right, is it? Or Georgiana. Georgiana, right? Okay.
What'd you call me at first?
Nothing. Nothing. I just got the names mixed up.
Yeah.
Georgiana, I'm sorry. We'll use Brett's name up here. How about that? Brett will be our contact that's looking for that there. I'm just thinking of a name. Okay. First situation. Do I have to go to my matrix and add Brett to my contact list? I don't have to. I can if I want. I can go to my contacts, and down here I can add Brett to my contact list with an email address and things like that. Rapatoni, you had to, right? Okay, well Matrix, you don't have to. So I'm not going to do it, just to show you where else you can do it. So I'm just going to go straight to this, Georgiana, and go to residential, I assume. Active listings. I assume single family
Yes,
and for sale?
yes.
Okay. And what two MLS areas, does it matter?
9 went over, and 924.
What was the first one?
910.
910, okay.
And 924.
Okay.
Which is West Garden.
Okay. And do you know you can just type it in here, 910, comma 924, or I could have scrolled down and I could have picked them. And do you know you can click on that little icon there, open it up, and then you could have went down here and found them, or I could have typed in Oakwood up here and picked it and moved it over. So several different ways you can do that there. Okay. Okay, and then price 2 to 250.
No, 250 to 3 1/4.
I'm sorry.
325.
325. Thank you. Okay. Does everyone understand how you type in prices up here? Okay. Notice how I did that 250-325. It's already in thousands. If I wanted 250 and greater, I could have just said 250 plus. Does that make sense? Okay, but we wanted 325. Okay. You wanted a swimming pool?
Or
Okay.
they are big enough for us.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gonna scroll down here. Now, what field do we search by for a swimming pool?
I don't know.
You don't know. How did you do it in Rapatoni? What field?
Additional.
Outside features, right? Outside features, because you're not the first one to ask that question, and so I didn't know either, so I looked it up, and it was the same as Rapatoni. It's a field that is not in this list here, so I had to scroll down, and I had to add a field, and I added a field called outside features. Once I add that field, I don't have to keep adding outside features again.
I mean, it'll always show up for me when I.
Yeah. Now, I'm under residential. If I go to farm, will outside features be in there? No, not until I add it. It will always show up under residential though, until I take it out. So now I come in here, above ground pool.
No.
Oh, you just want in ground. Okay. So how do I pick two of them if I wanted to?
Control.
Hold down the control button. Hold down the control button, and then I could pick them both. But in your case, we just wanted in-ground pool. Okay. Now, how big of a yard would you need for a in-ground pool?
It's a really good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can do it within a 60 by 125.
Well, how many?
Within that, so it could be way much greater than that.
Well, your acres. How big of acreage would you need,
Well, at first
probably?
I was thinking I should do a search that had the pool.
Yeah,
I should do a
and
second
that
search
absolutely. You can do both.
with a bigger yard.
Yeah, you can do both. Right. Okay.
Because I don't think we're gonna get a pool, we'll see.
But you could also do this. If it has an in-ground pool, don't you think the yard is already big enough for a swimming pool? Okay. So the question is, how big, how many acres, lot size would I need? Half acre or more, 3/4 of an acre or more?
Well, there's not gonna be a lot in Oakland.
Okay.
That big.
Right. If just to show you this though, under acres, I could say 0.75 plus acres. That means I'm looking for at least 3/4 of an acre or bigger, assuming that's the size. If it's half an acre or bigger, then I just make it 0.5 acres.
But
or
if
more.
if it had a pool and you had the 0.75, it wouldn't pull it up. It
Well,
also had the minimum 0.75.
It also would have to have an in-ground pool here,
Yeah.
right. So to do it in one search, I would probably just do the acreage and not the pool, probably.
I would just do
Yeah.
a pool.
Okay, or doing separate,
Yeah.
doing both, right, absolutely. Yes,
Because
ma'am.
the zoning requirements could have changed from the time if the
Right.
pool has been used for maybe 20 years.
Absolutely.
You know?
So let's always start off with this, because that's even better. Yes, ma'am.
So how are you even getting in-ground pool to show up? Because it's not in my list, and when I put it,
And
type
you-
it in,
You added outside features here?
that's where I'm at, is trying to add that, and it's not even showing up.
So you went to add remove fields. You did a search for outside features, and you hit the add button here and moved it over.
That doesn't even come up.
Are you under residential?
Yep.
Okay. And it's not in that list
Why
there.
don't you, Steve, show me how you did it again. Show her how you even got that.
Okay, let me take all these fields out. and kind of start where everyone else is at. I'm going to remove all those fields. So where I'm at, I went to residential, single family sale, Oakwood, and that part of Kettering there, 200, 325. But when I came down here, oh, I guess it's in there because let me remove that field there, because that shouldn't be there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was LC. So when I came down here, there was no fields under here, so I went to add additional fields, just like you had in Rapatoni, additional criteria. I could scroll down to the O's, or just simply type in outside, pick outside features. You got it? I heard the
That was the missing step, because I'm looking at that whole thing for in-ground pool.
Oh, okay. So you didn't hit the add. Okay, that's where I lost you. Okay. So I hit add, and I moved it over here.
By adding, it automatically moves it over there?
Well, by me picking on it, then I have to hit the add button.
Then it automatically goes over there?
Right. See, I just added ownership there. Right. Now when I hit back, and I look at the bottom of my list here, right here, see it's in there. And it'll stay there until I hit add remove and I take it out. It'll stay there. Yes, sir.
I noticed those fields had and or.
Uh-huh.
Is that and? I mean, or where you did the or, what's the acreage in the pool? Would you get
I see where you're going at. No, it kind of makes sense. I'll explain what the and or means in there. Someone else have? Yes, ma'am.
Then how do you add additional outside features?
Okay. Well, then I pick here. I just want in-ground pool. Okay.
But if in-ground pool isn't there or something isn't there, how do you add it?
Oh, I mean, if something's not in this pick list here,
That's correct.
we can. Like someone.
So when you're there, do you press anything after you press in-ground?
In this case, if I do and or, does not matter. If I say not, now it matters. That means I want everything but not an in-ground pool. But if I got on or, let me explain what or means. If I have in-ground pool and in-ground pool selected, both of them are selected. But if I have it on or, I'll take one or the other. That's it, I'll take one or the other. If I have it on and, it must be both. It must have an in-ground pool and a above ground pool. It must be both. If I say not, then it can't have either one. We don't want a pool altogether there. That's what that means. So Ben, no, and I see where you're going, and that would be kind of a neat thing if we could do that. Right, it's within that field. It does not relate to any of these other fields up here. Right, okay.
What if I wanted the yard to be fenced? Yeah?
Let's see here, partial fence
I think that's what they're asking you, what if,
or fence. Well here, if I say and, now it's got to be an in-ground pool and it must be fenced in. Must be both of those. If I have it on or, just one of those two need to be there. I could get a fenced-in yard with no pool. I could get a in-ground pool but not have a fence. Now be careful using and, because some agents might have told us that it's got an in-ground pool. They might have a fenced-in yard, but if the agent didn't tell us about that, you're not going to find it there.
sometimes what happens is it's in the remarks, but it's not checked.
Right.
You know, like for instance, mother-in-law,
Yeah.
you know, or place for au pair.
Right.
We have a lot of requests for that, and I always have a hard time finding that.
Right.
So you're saying this has to have been checked on the.
By
profile.
them, right. In that field. Rapatoni, I'm sure, was the same way. I'm really pretty
I'm
confident.
just trying to say you're better.
No. Yeah, okay.
So what happens if they want a fence of some kind, either a partial fence or a fence,
Mm-hmm.
and they want a pool? So what is an or and what's an and?
Yeah, in this situation, no, we can't. Any members of RIST up in Troy there? We have the old system called Fusion up there, which, by the way, we're trying to get them to come into Matrix, so that we're on the same platform. We won't be able to merge them, but at least on the same platform. But one of the neat features they have in our old system, which I'm hoping, and I have no idea if it is coming, but I'm hoping because it's in our older system, we have a thing called advanced features, where you could say, I want an in-ground pool, it must be this, but this or the fence or the partial fence. It's kind of like an advanced features search there. Okay, that would be sweet if we could do that. But honestly, I don't see a lot of people using that because they're having trouble figuring out what the and or means first. So if we have advanced features, we'd really be losing people there. Okay, I still like it because I'll just tell those people, well, just don't use that button. Okay, so I think it's easier in that situation. Instead of using the and picking this and that, just what's the most, is it a pull or is it the fenced in that they're really working on? Let's start with that, yeah. Right. And I do the same thing with the garage. So some people will say it's got a 1 or 2 or 3 car, but they'll forget to tell us if it's attached or detached. So I'll pick what's the size first, but that's probably most important. And then I'll look at the results and weed out the attached versus the non-attached, if you will. Okay? Okay, so let me take out garage up here. So let's do in-ground pool first. I got no matches, so you're right here. I'm just kind of curious if I say above ground pool. Still got no matches there. Okay. So to me, that's just saying that this neighborhood is probably pretty tough for that there.
But you're looking for active listings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's the
am.
middle of January.
Active. Yeah, but they still have an in-ground pool though, right?
That's already-
Oh, maybe I should change it to skating rink instead of a pool.
Go back and look at some sales over the last 5 years
Okay.
and see who had.
Let's
had
do that.
a pool.
Let's look at sales within the last, just curious,
Yeah.
365 days. Let's just go back a year first. Are there's one sale in the last year in that area that had a pool. Now let me take out in-ground pool. Now I got 65 listings. Because I was worried about also my price range. But I don't think that's the problem, right?
I think the problem is pools are usually in more expensive houses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I agree with you. I agree. So in this case, since I'm not getting a lot of in-ground pools, and that's sales, see on actives,
You need to tell them, the probabilities are that you call them back in 3 years.
yeah.
One comes out.
Okay. So in that case, since I'm not getting any actives with in-ground pool, I might go to option 2. Let's just see if there's anything large enough. And I'm just guessing at a half an acre. I don't have a swimming pool, so I don't know. Just to see, I still got one match that has a half an acre. Now, is that big enough for a pool? I don't know. Okay. So,
Yeah,
is it okay?
This is all up front.
But look, without acres in there,
See, I don't want you to belabor it, I just didn't know how to add that feature.
okay.
And now I'm glad you showed me
Yeah.
that I can go to the category called
Okay.
outside features.
Okay.
Are there other things that you have to go into categories to get?
Sure.
Besides that, a lot of other.
Yeah. Just like it should be the same thing as in Rapatoni. You might have to add more fields. Remember in Rapatoni you had additional criteria, and you clicked on it. You had a long list of stuff you could add to your search. That's what's over here, pretty
I know, but
much.
is there an example of the things you can add?
Example
In other
thing.
words, you knew to say outside features.
Because someone asked that question before, right?
Well, if you go to additional fields, when that shows.
Yeah, here's your additional fields. You know what you could do is pick the first one, come all the way down to the end, hold down your shift, pick the last thing, and move them all over. And you spend one time just looking at it and getting familiar. I don't think any of those fields have changed since Rapatoni. Okay? So whatever field you used in Rapatoni to search for, it should be the same field in there. It should be. Yes, sir.
I'm curious if there's another chink in the armor there. You go back to the search.
Sure, sure.
And instead of doing acres, do square feet.
Lot square feet, that's building square feet.
Oh, it is. So
Yeah.
There's not a. I was wonder if that's an issue though.
Let's see, I think we can add a field called lot square feet.
Yeah, a lot of listings will have this.
5 square feet for the.
Lot size square footage there.
Yeah.
I think when we do the tax auto pop, I think we populate both there.
Oh.
I think. I could be wrong on there. And that is a good suggestion because, or good thought, because Rapatoni, you added one, it would do an auto calculation of the other here.
Yeah.
Right. So, might be, now I know acres, but I don't know the square footage of half an acre. So there's that conversion.
21,000.
21,000 or more? Oh, per acre, so you just take half of that. So 21,000 plus. and I still get the 1 that I did up there. So I think, I don't know if there's that auto calculation like Rapatoni did, but when we pull it in from the tax record, we always put both in there. So it should, good calls, good call.
Just
Okay.
to clarify then, what you're saying is once you add any of these additional fields to the first search that you add them to,
Mhm.
from then on, no matter what client you have, it'll always show up?
No, the field will always be available for me to use.
Okay, I thought you were saying that it was going to
Right.
stay there.
The field is always available for me to use. It won't have nothing in it unless I put it
So
in
you
there.
have to add that every time?
No, I don't have to add the field lot square footage,
No, right.
but the amount in there, yeah, because someone
So
else
for
could
your
probably
bill-
care less about
Your
it.
bill or anything will always show up for you?
The option.
This option will show up.
Yes.
Yeah, that option will always show up. There will be nothing in there.
Right.
Right, absolutely. Okay. Just make sure yeah, I understand that. No, that's good role playing there, because that's kind of tying into our advanced searching option there
I
too.
want to refer this person to Brett, I think.
There you go. Do that. Do that.
So if you, say you add an outside feature and you've added it, do you have to go in and if you don't want that, to remove it, or you say you don't have to?
I don't have to remove it. I just won't use it for my next search. Does that make sense? I just won't use it. If I do a search for Bob next after this, outside features will be a field here, but if he doesn't concerned with any of those fields, I just won't throw anything in there.
So you,
No.
right?
What do you mean?
All I know was,
Just don't throw anything in that criteria and just ignore
Just
it.
don't check anything.
Yeah, just don't check it. Yeah. Just that field will be there. We just won't have anything thrown in. I'll use it if I want to. I don't have to use it. So it's just something I use on occasion.
Comes up blank every search.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, I threw this in. I'm ready to save this search for Brett. I could map them if I like, just to see where they're at. Okay. And I could go to results and look at those 7 houses. Okay, looks good. I'm ready to save this. So I just go down to my actions, refine, save, and cards. I use the save button, right? Do we understand the difference between these two? That would save it, give it a name, link it to Brett, but is it auto prospecting? Is it finding him new matches on a daily basis? No, it's not. So in this case, I'd want to save it as a new auto email. And then I go in and, oh shoot, I forgot to add Brett to my list here. That's okay. I can just add him right here on the fly. So I go in, I type in Brett, I type in Ann Lynn. Is it an E at the end or no?
No.
No, okay. Is sick, is that right?
Almost.
Oh.
C-I-K. No, C-I-K.
See, back up one,
Drop
two
one
more.
more. There you go.
Back
C-I-K.
up. No, S, no S.
Ah!
No S.
D-O-M.
You had it, you just had it. D-O-M-E-S-C-I-K.
S-C-I-K.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just make up an email address. Brett at something.com. Now, do you know you can add multiple email addresses in here? Comma or a semicolon, and I can add Lynn's in here too. Oops. That's a comma. At something.com. Okay? You can do up to at least 5 that I know of in there. Multiple email
I'll
addresses.
give you her email address, send it all to her.
Okay, there you go. Said Brett really wants a swimming pool. And then I could hit show all fields, and I could add Lynn's name down here. I could open this up and hi Brett, hello Brett, or dear, or I can customize it, type in my own salutation. Okay, no, I'll just do that one. Address and information, and I'll just hit cancel. So now he's in my oh, I hit cancel, didn't I? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Make sure you hit save, not cancel. And that's all right. I'll just. Okay. And Brett. At something. Okay. Save it. Give it an email. Oakwood/Kettering area with. Well, no, I had to take that out, didn't I? Okay. I'll just call it that there. Here's our recurring message. This is the welcome message. Remember, they first get this welcome message. You can modify this message. And you can say something like, something I like to do is say, please click the link below to activate this search, okay? You can, whatever you like that message, or you like your own message, type it in. Now, if you want it permanent, right now it's just for Brett. Everyone else will see that generic one. But if I want this to be permanent for all my clients, I hit that little settings wheel, and I can set that as my default welcome message. So from here on out, it'll be this message for all my clients, not just Brett, okay? Once he clicks that link, because there will be a link at the bottom of this, he then starts getting recurring email messages, okay? This recurring message is just short and sweet that says, hey, something's changed or updated, go check it out. There'll be a little thumbnail of each house that matches it too. I like to even add a little note here, don't forget to save, reject, and leave notes for me, okay? Just reminds them it goes out to their portal, and on there they can save listings, they can reject listings they don't like, and they can leave you notes out there, which is very similar to Rapatoni's portal. And save that as my default welcome or recurring email message, okay? Do I just want this message just for him, or do I want this permanent for everyone else?
So when you put that message in, you're losing the other message entirely that was on them?
Well, I just used that message. I still left it there. I just added a little bit to it.
Okay, so the other stuff is there and you can add yours to
Yeah.
it there.
But I can take that out if I don't really like that. So it's your call. Yeah, what you see in there is what it'll be. Right. Just scroll down. ASAP, once a day, twice a day, you choose. Does everyone understand what the concierge mode is?
Gives you a chance to look at it before it goes.
Absolutely. So just for those that didn't catch or didn't comprehend this back in the basics class, before it goes to Brett, if I don't want Brett to get this, then I'm going to enable the concierge mode. Okay, watch what happens in my schedule here. If I enable the concierge mode and I save it, Brett does not see those listings until I approve them for him. Okay? That's extra work on my behalf, but that's the ability you've got for those certain type of clients, and I think we know who they are. They need a extra special work or attention. If I take that out, I'm just going to say, no, just send it to Brett and save it. Let him look at them. Let him filter them out. Okay? And there you go. If I had said yes to that concierge back here on the home page, then I would have a concierge widget up here. And these are the people that I have auto emails for, but they are not sending it out to Chuck or Calvin until I approve them. Okay? So before it goes to Calvin, I want to look at it before it goes to him because he's a very picky person looking for something special, and I need to look at it first. Yes, ma'am.
On the auto emails, it seems to me that I've had the same ones go out several times. Is there any way to just have it go out one time and only one time?
Well, watch this. This is what the portal does, okay? If we had it set up, and this might be a little difference with Rapatoni versus Matrix. Every time you email listings to a client, every time I email Brett listings, they get stuck onto his portal, and they stay there. So if I kept emailing Brett 5 listings here, 2 there, 1 there, 3 there, 7 there, and he misses one of those emails, he might miss his perfect house because he overlooked that one email that had those 3 houses in it, and one of them was perfect. Well, when you send it in Matrix, it always sends it to them on their portal, and they stick there. So you're thinking you keep sending that same listing to them? You're really not. You had sent it to them in the past. The most recent ones are on top. If Brett doesn't like those that I sent him in the past, he needs to what? Reject it. And then he won't see it unless it changed price or comes back on the market. That way, he doesn't have to worry about seeing every single email I've ever sent him. Because if he misses 1 or 2 or 3, it don't matter. Just open up your whatever email, and it always takes you to your latest and greatest portal. and then you see it there. So we want to make sure they don't miss anything. And I think Rappahannock's portal was that way, but I think they also had an ability to send it without the portal. Then it was just individualized listings. And then you're wondering, well, did they see it or not? You're just assuming they did. So here, we don't assume that. They're there, and if they don't like it, just don't reject it. Good question. We get that a lot. So I've been emailing listings to my dad here, and his portal's up here. And every time he opens up an email, he will always see his latest on top. And I changed my view here. Let me change it back. The thumbnail is always the default view. So the most recent ones will always be on top. Now, can one client have multiple emails? Sure. My dad's got 5 of them here. He's looking in Vandalia, and by the way, he's not actually looking. I'm just using him as an example. Here's his search for Vandalia listings. Here's his search for Fairborn listings. Here's his search for houses around where he lives, because he wants to kind of keep track of who's moving out and who's moving in that area. Here's a search in the Forest Ridge area that he kind of wants to keep an eye on. So one portal, but they got all of his auto emails on here. He can look at them all at one time if he wants. By the way, we do have a 5-minute video that I created for you guys that explains this portal, and you can copy that link and send it out to your clients. So hey, if you're struggling with how to understand this, watch this 5-minute video and see if it helps you. Let me show you where that link is at. It's under help. Okay, all the videos are under help. And it's under Matrix Video Tutorials right here. Okay. Now the very first several up here, these are national videos. We have another national trainer who created these videos, and we use them in all of our accounts. They still work here. They're just might be Las Vegas or New Orleans or Florida or something like that. But it's still Matrix. It's still basically the same options. Okay, build to see $1 million houses instead of palm trees in it and stuff too. But it's the same stuff. These last 5 of them are ones I've created for you guys, and I've got some more I need to create for you. But this one right down here, how clients use the portal, has become a very popular one that I've done for many accounts across the country. And this is using your sites. So all you need to do is click on that one. Takes you to the DABR's YouTube page where we're storing these at. Let me pause that there. And then what you can do... Yeah, sorry. See, it's my voice on there. Okay. Go up here and copy that, paste it. Remember that welcome email? I said you can add things in there. Copy and paste that link into that message. Say, hey, if you need extra help, watch this video. And see it there. Okay? So watch it. You maybe watch it first yourself to make sure. Okay? So that's their portal. Now, that I saved that auto email, where do I find it? It's under My Matrix. It's under Auto Emails. I scroll down right here. It's Brett, Oakwood, Kettering area. Has he clicked on that link yet to open it? Slacker. Well, no. Come on, Brett. Come on. Click on that. You got your cell phone, right? You can joking. Oh wait, I sent it the wrong email. But the green check mark here would mean that they clicked on it. The white one means they haven't clicked on it yet. So we're waiting for them to click on it. So remember, this is different from Rappahannock. Rappahannock, we would just keep on emailing them no matter what, which at first I thought was a good idea. I actually kind of like this because now I'm seeing how serious Brett is. So I'm going to be following up with him in a day or two and say, hey, you still haven't clicked that link. Is everything okay? Okay? So if he needs me to resend it to him, I just click on it and I resend it to him. Okay? It could get sent to their spam or junk folder. So I might have said that to him when I first talked to him. Say, hey, do check your junk or spam because it could be there. But once he accepts it, it shouldn't be in his junk anymore. Just that first time there.
Steve?
Yes?
on that right there, now where it says market update.
Yes.
You said hit market update, would that the same search criteria that involved that?
Yes.
It would renew it for that?
Yes.
Okay.
What I could use, and that is on my agenda here,
All right.
using the market update, it's actually 2E on my outline. If I use the market update, I can run this back last 10 days, last 2 days, or run it since the last time just to see what's fresh out there.
Okay.
That's what a market update is, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's the white circle there. Let's say he wants to take a time out and he's not really sure if he's ready to look at these listings or not. What I can do is just put a check mark here, and see this bottom line right here, the little, that should always be floating at the bottom of my screen. The reason why I have to keep scrolling down to get to it is because I changed my screen resolution up here to a little bigger so everyone in the back row can see this. So it's not really floating at the bottom like it should be. So I shouldn't have to keep scrolling down. It should always be at the bottom. But that's the situation here. So with that one check mark, I could delete it, and that would just get rid of it completely. Don't want to go that far. He just wants to take a time out. So if I disable it, now it just puts a little exclamation point there. Means I disabled it, time out. I've got another one here from my buddy Steve on here that he hasn't looked at it in the last 80 days there. And if you know Steve, he's a little slow on getting back on my emails here, right, Ben? So he's a good friend of ours. Anyway, so it used to be 30 days, okay? And it had been recently updated to 80 days. So if he does not look at this one time within a 30-day period, it gets shut off. But as long as they're actively looking at it, it will keep on extending for another 80 days, another 80 days. So in theory, as long as they're looking at it, it'll never get turned off. Okay? They could also unsubscribe from their auto emails. Okay? Down at the bottom, they can hit unsubscribe, and there's actually 3 options to unsubscribe. The first option is to just unsubscribe from that one search. You might have, like my dad, 5 searches, but he might just want to unsubscribe from that one search. Well, all that would do is just turn off that one search. And in that case, all I'd have to do, let me use Brett's up here, is click on it, go to settings, you can see it's turned off, and all I'd have to do is enable it. And then when I hit save, it's turned right back on. He gets the welcome message again, and life is good. It's active again, okay? But if they unsubscribe from any of the other 2 options, one of them is saying, I don't want to get an email from Keith Hensley at all. I just don't like that guy, so don't, okay? Or, I just don't like him. I just don't like realtors in general. So anyone using Matrix, don't allow them to email me anymore. Those last 2 are pretty extreme. If they go that way, it does turn it off, but the only way to turn it back on is for them to send an email to and it's got instructions here. When you click on it, there'll be an email they'll need to send an email to, saying, hey, look, I made a mistake, turn me back on. They have to do it. I can't do it for them, okay? But my theory, what I've been experiencing the last several years across the country is, if people go that extreme to opt out, they probably don't want to turn back on. Because, remember, they had to click on that first link anyways to get it started. So if they did that, then chances are they shouldn't opt out. But they make mistakes. And there's still a way to turn it back on. Now let's say Brett is done. He found a house. Do I still want to keep sending him updates on Oakwood and saying, well, look, if you waited a little bit longer, you could have bought these houses? Well, yeah, you could. Or you could just get rid of this. Right. If I put a check mark here, just like I showed you, I could delete it and it's gone. I could disable it, but it would still be in my auto emails. Okay? I don't want it to be an auto email, even if it's turned off. I don't want it there. I want to move it into my saved searches. Because remember, saved searches are inactive. So I don't want to clutter up my auto emails as much as I have to. So watch this. I'm going to convert this search, auto email, my bad, into a saved search. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go to settings. And there's a magic button right up here that will turn or convert this auto email into a saved search. Now there is a video on how to do the opposite of this. Remember that list of videos? We had the opposite scenario where you had to save search and turn it into an auto email. Same method. You just use that link, and now it's converting it to a saved search where you just give it a name, Oakwood Kettering. That's fine, I'll just call it that. Still for Brett, and I'll save it. I only have 18 now, not 19. That one for Brett is not here. Where did it go? It's under Save Searches. Right. Right down here at the bottom. Oakwood, see? And I also find it under Contacts, under Brett's name. See, right there, Save Searches. Where just a moment ago, it was an auto email. Now it's a Save Search. And I can do the same thing. I can go to Save Searches. I can click on his Save Search, go to Settings, and turn it into an auto email. And see, the auto email has a lot more questions for me to fill out. So that's very fundamental, but it's very basic. I want to make sure everyone is clear on that. And it sounds like, hopefully everyone is. Is that good? Anything else? Disabling them, making change. Okay. Do they ever change their mind on what they're looking for?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. That's a surprise. Okay. All the time. Well, if Brett comes back and he realizes he wants to look for a more expensive house or lease or whatever, I go to My Matrix. I could go to Contacts. This is one way. Click on Brett's name. Click on Save Search. Go to Oakwood's Kettering and change his criteria right here. Okay? Or I could have went to auto emails. Now, his is not an auto email anymore. But I could go to any one of these and go to criteria and make a price change or status change. And once I do that, let's just say I change this one to 400 to 600,000. Come down here and I save it. It's going to say, okay, well now that you changed the criteria, do you want to change the name or anything else in here? And they will get this new message saying, hey, I have revised your criteria. Okay? I can modify that message there because it's an update email. So actually now there's a new email here. And you might even say in here what you changed. I just upped your price or reduced your price. So they will get an email saying that you changed it. And because now if something disappears on their website, well, it's because you changed their criteria. And then I just save it again.
Is there any way to not send that email? Say that
I couldn't hear the question.
Is there any way not to send that email?
Yeah.
That you revised their criteria? Because maybe you made a mistake in the first place and you want to...
Well, I have a lady that called me like 5 times and...
You kept changing your mind?
She, and then she kept changing.
Yeah.
I don't think they always need an email.
I gotcha. Yeah, I see. I don't know. If I go in and change a criteria, and I see your point, yeah. And I go in and let's just say I had one story, I save it. Is there a way not to send that? I mean, I could get rid of that message, but I still think an email would be sent out.
I'm just wondering, since we hit save on the other screen, if this is actually just...
You have to do another save again. I'm pretty sure. And the reason why is it gives you an opportunity to change the name, because what if you changed there or added an area to it? I'm assuming it does have to go. I'm assuming, but I see your point there. I see your point. Don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to guess it's going to send it out again. Yeah. Good point. Just tell them not to change your mind anymore. Easier said than done, right? Yeah, I think it will on there. Okay. And one last thing is, what if I want to make a copy of this search? I've got this search for Brett. It's actually a saved search. And it's called Oakwood Kettering. But now Bob calls me up, and he's wanting something exactly the same thing. In fact, maybe in that search for Brett, I drew a map around the area. I didn't use 910, 924 area numbers. I drew a map. I don't have to draw that map again. I just want to make a copy of it. When I click on that search for Brett, is there a copy button in here? No. All you need to do is go to Brett's results and hit save, and save it as a new auto email, but this time save it for Bob, and I don't think Bob's in my list, but that's fine. I can just add Bob to my list and then save it for Bob. And that's really a copy. That's all that is. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
On the map section when you're doing land,
Mm-hmm.
is there another layer that will actually show the dimensions of the lot?
Yeah. Let's kind of transition to section 1 now. Remember how I flipped those two sections? Let's go with the section 1, advanced searching, and let's start with B, map searching. Okay. So now we go to search, and we can do land. Let's try land here. It would be basically the same thing under residential though, but we'll do land. I'm not well versed in land, but we can do. Now watch this. I just want active listings. My first thing I want to do is draw my shape around an area. Watch what happens when I open up my map search. You get all these little pins in my way. And if I zoom out, sometimes you'll get these little balloons like this. Okay? When I first saw that, I thought that was annoying. Okay? And some of you might be thinking the same thing. Kind of wish there was a little toggle switch to turn it on, turn it off, because we're allowing up to 5,000 listings to be mapped at one time. There is a benefit for this. I'm not the best salesman for this method here, but what some people do, they might say solds with so many acres, and then when they go to the map, you can kind of see where all those listings are at, whether they're up here or down here. I see right now, I can see there's not a lot of listings up here, but there's a lot of land listings down in here. So that's why it's there. But watch this. I'm going to show you a real easy way to turn that off. MLS number 0. How many listings do you think I'll find with MLS number 0? Shouldn't find any, right? So that's your toggle button. So you go to your map, will you see all those balloons in your way? No. You won't see the green pins. No matter how far down I go into, I just kind of turn that mapping feature off. I wish we would have an actual toggle button here, but we don't, okay? But that's same effect. Now I can go down and where do you want to search for land at? And I'll just go up here in Huber Heights somewhere, just say something here. And then I can do my radius, I can do my rectangle, I can do my polygon. Now, you were asking about seeing how much acreage or the size of the lot of the house? Okay. So you're talking about a specific property, right? Okay. So in that case, as I zoom in here a little bit, if I'm on top of a certain area here, if I click on, see that little parcel of land there, if I click on it, it'll tell me the owner's name, the address, and if I hit lot dimensions, it will tell me how big that lot dimensions is, okay? And if I click on that one, it'll tell me how big that one is. Now, I'm not really searching yet, I've drew, but yes, anytime you find a list of houses, you can open up the map and get the lot dimensions of any property there. Right. Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, my question, Kate, now how do you reinstate the balloons?
Okay, just go back to criteria and take out MLS number 0.
Oh, okay.
That easy. So that, in a sense, is your toggle button.
Right, okay.
Okay. And you don't have to use MLS number. I could have said zip code of 11111. Will there be a zip code of 111? No. I just like MLS because it's right there and you just do one number and it's there. Okay. So let me go back up to residential search. Okay, residential search. So knowing that by putting MLS number 0 in there will clear out those little pins, or the balloons as I call them. Now what I could do, let's say, and just let me illustrate this a little bit. I really think if I was you, I would try to get away from using area numbers as a searching field. Do you have to? No, you can still use area numbers in there. A lot of MLSs across the country are doing away with area numbers. I have no idea if Dayton's doing it. In fact, they're probably not doing it. Okay?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
No.
But who's to say in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? Okay? If I was you, I would just start transitioning to there, because watch this. If I do a search for area 22 of Beaver Creek, let me take out my MLS number, and I go to my map of active listings. Is that area 22 in Beaver Creek? Is that area 22 in Beaver Creek? Is that area 22 in Beaver Creek? No. So by me saying I want area 22 of Beaver Creek, I'm already getting 3 or 4 or 5 listings that are not in area 22. Okay? That is one of the most easiest ways people make a mistake. And a lot of it is new members. They just don't know. They thought they did it right and they transpose it. Does that mean you cannot make a mistake by typing in the wrong zip code? No, that happens too. Wrong school district, that happens wrong too. Even maps, even listings get mapped wrong. So there is no perfect way of doing this, okay? Area numbers have not been updated in many, many years, okay? So still do that if you want. I think, and what I've been seeing, and it's just not me, but the best way of searching is by a map, but it's the toughest way, because that means it takes time on your effort to go in and draw boundary lines, okay? But if this, let's say there's a special area that you always search for, okay? I live in Huber Heights, so let me kind of pick on Huber Heights for a minute. Instead of using 471, 472, and 473, I could, and I'm going to put my 0 back in here for MLS number, I'm going to go and draw my own boundaries, because I will trust what I draw on a map rather than I trust what the agent types in for area number. Now, since I use Huber Heights a lot, that's why I'm starting with Huber Heights. I'm going to create a template, so that way I don't have to do this every time someone wants to live in Huber Heights. So I'm going to come in here, do my polygon. Remember, you got a rectangle and a circle, so we all know what a circle, rectangle is in a polygon. Okay. If not, go back to first grade and learn that. Okay. Polygon. So here I'm just going to come, and actually I should use Miami County borderline, because now Huber Heights is up in Miami County there too, right? So, and I'm just doing this real quick, you guys. I'm just coming down Brant Pike here, and I'm going to stop at Fishburg. I know it goes a lot further than that. I'm going to come to the river here maybe, and for right now I'm going to stop right there. But I can come in, I can move this over to the river. You can even drill down a little bit more.
How did you move that? You mind?
Yeah, the plus sign right there.
No,
Yeah.
move the.
Oh. It's a secret.
We should.
Okay, thank you. I'll show it to you. Don't tell no one else, though. Okay. Just see right there when I put my hand right there on the side. Just grab it. I'm holding down my left mouse button.
Oh, cool.
It's really that fun to do, you guys. So, I've got OCD, so you might want to sit back and get comfortable for a second here. So, I won't be able to sleep until I get this right tonight. And then I can come down here, move this down. But it's really kind of neat to do. Yeah. Okay. So I love our maps, and like I said, I can move this up to here. Then I don't think there's going to be any listings in the Metro Park there, so I don't have to be perfect there. Okay. And so forth. And I can move it up to 40, but like I said, you better stop me now before I get carried away with this. Okay. But anyways, let's say I spent all day, well, 20 minutes drawing that shape. Well, I'll trust that shape over someone saying 471, 472, or even what's probably even not a good thing to do, especially in Huber Heights, is municipality of Huber Heights.
Does that get saved somehow? Is there
I will save it. I will save it. It's not saved yet until I save it.
Well,
That's what I'm going to do here in a second. So I don't want to do Huber Heights here. Why? A lot of listings say Dayton in there. That's a pet peeve of mine. We're a city, okay? We're not Dayton anymore. We fought that battle 30, 40 years ago. Okay. Okay, so I drew my map. Don't forget to take out MLS number 0. Okay? So I feel good about this. Okay? All I got is active listings in that map that I drew. And people always get scared. Yeah, but you said a quarter of a mile. I don't care what you say here. I don't have an address in here. So it's a quarter of a mile or 25 miles of nothing. Okay? It's using what I drew up there. So don't get intimidated by that number there. That only has an effect if you type something in there.
Now, if you go back to the map key, does that screen that you targeted come right up? Or do you
Yeah,
have to redo it?
right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still there. Absolutely.
All right.
So the only thing I want is active listings. And here's the question. It's up to you. Do you also want single family and sale in there? That's up to you. If you don't, then don't put that in there. Okay. I just want active in that map area. So now I either go to the map or results, doesn't matter which one, and I need to save it, right? Do I need to save this as a search or as a new auto email? Why not an auto email?
Who are you sending it to?
Right. Who am I sending it? Just no one. So you're correct. It's a save search. It's not, I don't need this auto prospecting. So I'm just going to save it as a search, call it Huber Heights mapped area. Do I need to link this to a client? No, just a generic template. But do I want this to be one of my favorites on my homepage? I would, as long as you don't have more than 10, but yeah, I would. So now I save it. Okay? Oh, I already got a name there, so let me get rid of mapped area. Okay, so watch this. Now a week go by, I log into Matrix. Someone calls me up wanting to live in Huber Heights, so guess what I do? Do I go back to search and draw that map again? No. I've got a favorite search right here called Huber Heights Mapped. I click on it, and there's 167 listings in Huber Heights. I just need to go back to my criteria and throw in their price range, throw in their bedrooms. Let's say their price range of 150 to 200. Let's say they're looking for bedrooms of 3 or more with a master on the main floor. Do I have to draw that shape again? No. That shape is already done for me. And there's only, wow, 3 listings. Okay.
167.
Well, that's because I had no price range, I had no criteria in there. That's why. Okay, let me take a master on main.
Price will take care of that.
No, your price is going to take
Price
care
is
of it
high.
on your master on.
Yeah, my price is kind of high too. What's that?
You just trust the MLS areas that much? that
Oh,
you
I
have
do.
trouble?
Yeah, I do. Well, you saw when I did Area 2 too. I found
See,
listings up in Union.
One of the
so.
problems now that we have with that is that a lot of the out-of-area brokers
Right.
don't know our areas.
Right.
So they don't look. I looked at it yesterday and saw about 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 different listings that were in an area I was searching, but there were no numbers.
You got members from Cincinnati, Realtors.
Yeah.
You got members from
Columbus.
Risk and Columbus. They don't know these area numbers. They're doing their best guess, but they're wrong, along with the new agents there. Right. And vice versa. If you're a Risk member, you don't primarily work up there. Do you know their numbers as well? Maybe not.
But you know, you could always just go pull it up with the area and then just click off the ones that come up that are out.
Well, yeah, you can do that. I'm not steering you away from using area numbers. I'm just saying, think of your other options there and be alert of it. Maybe you'll catch it more. What was your question?
I thought MLS checked that for incorrect.
I don't know if they ever did or not.
It's enabled right now.
Yeah, it's enabled. Yeah, I don't think that. Oh, it's not a required field, you mean? Yeah, that's another thing. It is not a required field on your MLS number. When you add a new listing, it's not a required field. Am I going to fill that in? Absolutely. I'm going to fill it. I don't care what fields are not required. Just because they're not required doesn't mean I don't have to do it. I'm still going to put in as much information as possible.
The other day when someone put in one of my listings at the office, they didn't put the MLS area.
Mm-hmm.
She was a substitute.
Yeah.
Then I got a phone call from Iron Gate Realtor that said, "Do you realize, George, that your listings aren't showing up in the searches from my clients?"
Sure.
Right.
And I was looking at it, and so you really need to have someone put the MLS.
I would, yeah.
So you want to have the MLS area.
And that's not the only field. There's so many other fields that are not required that people don't fill in that I think they should, because they're missing out. The more you tell us, the more results you'll get on your search. Yes, ma'am.
Your mapped area that you drew.
Yeah.
Will that show up on your market update unless you put that criteria in your market update?
Well, were you talking about a market update?
It shows new listings.
Let me kind of show you that. Yeah, let me show you that there. Now remember, I saved it as a saved search, not an auto email. But I can still use it as a hot sheet if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let me finish this thought.
Criteria for the hot sheet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just used this favorite search here from the home page to get me started. So when Ben or Georgiana wants something in Huber Heights, all I have to just click on it. I don't have to draw that shape again. All I do is go back to criteria and throw in their price range, throw in their bedrooms, throw in their bathrooms, whatever. And when I go to results, I just save it. Now, do I want to save it? Do I want to update that Huber Heights map search, or do I want to save it as a new auto email? Save it as a new auto email. I don't want to mess that one up. That's my template. So now I'm saving it as a new auto email for whoever wants this search. Okay? So getting back to your question here, now that I saved the search, it's a favorite, and it's called Huber Heights Mapped. Okay, and what's my criteria? Active and that map area, right? Do you see this Update All button here? If I hit Update All, it's going to show me all the new ones since the last time I ran that search. And I just ran that search, so there's nothing new. But if I waited 2 or 3 days and then I update it, then I'm going to see there's new listings. Look at this Forest Ridge one. I did a map area of Forest Ridge, and since the last time I ran it, there's 6 new matches out there. So if I click on it, I want to see the new matches out there. So in a sense, that's kind of like a hot sheet. Hot sheets are actually over here, but that's kind of like a hot sheet there. Okay?
That's the Market Watch then, is that not?
And that's on the bottom of my list. We'll make sure we cover that there. So that is kind of like a hot sheet, even though it's not a hot sheet. Okay, so I even got to the hot sheets yet.
How is the mapping done and how accurate is that?
We use Bing Maps. As soon as you add listings, and I think this is important. Have you guys already used Matrix and added listings? I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Okay, some of you maybe have, maybe haven't. Well, when you add a new listing in Matrix, as soon as you give us a street number, street name, and zip code, the system will automatically map it using Bing Maps. You can see down here Bing Maps, okay? Okay? Should be pretty good, especially in a populated area, okay? We have, well, we're all over the nation, but West Virginia is one of my other accounts, and we do a pretty good job even mapping it down there in the mountains of West Virginia. But it maps it automatically, but I always encourage people to go in and look at it manually just to confirm that it mapped it right for you. And if it didn't map it right, or you want to move it to the better neighborhood, go ahead and do that. But please, I encourage everyone to always check your listings to make sure they're mapped right. Okay, and then hit done. Now, after you map it, something we have in Matrix, hopefully you've already experienced this, but we have Google Street View now in Matrix. We didn't have Google Street View in Rapatoni. If available, after you map it correctly, then see if Google Street View is available and see what Google Street View thinks is the house. Because there have been times when it looks across the street at the cemetery when it really should be on the other side of the house. So you can set this, because it's your listing, so you can set this where it needs to go. So sometimes it's looking in between 2 houses, it's kind of looking up to the sky there. Okay?
How do you set it if they have the wrong home?
Well, once you set this here, you just hit OK. So all you do is first look at it manually just to make sure it's the right house. And you can zoom in on this, and just like I showed her earlier in the map, when you click on the house, it shows you the address and the owner's name. So that way, oh, nope, it needs to go over here. And you can do it. But just because you do that, now we need to check and see what Google thinks it is. And Google might have it right, but it might be wrong. So you just move it around and then hit OK, and you're done. Now it's fixed for public and people. Yes, ma'am.
So what you're saying essentially is that if you are doing a search, you should put in less criteria than more.
Oh,
For example,
absolutely.
like, like municipality and school district, and all that, in case they make a mistake on any one of those.
When you're searching, less criteria will give you more results. The more I keep throwing
Well,
in,
yeah,
my
I
numbers
know,
keep
but
getting reduced
I'm
down.
talking about those specifically, like school
Okay.
district and municipality.
Yeah. I wouldn't do municipality and school district because now you might contradicting yourself. I would pick one.
Dayton kind of issue.
Right.
It wouldn't pull up Beaver Creek if we put in Beaver Creek School District. Or
Right.
put in Beaver Creek and they had listed it
As Dayton, right. So the school district might got it, but the municipality wouldn't have. Right. So you might contradict yourself there. So I would just do one, and school district might be better than municipality. Right.
Can we have a break?
Yeah, 5-minute break. I was about to say, thank you. 5-minute break, you guys.
That's only going to 3, right?
Yeah. So real quick break. I don't want to go too far, but yes. Good discussions, you guys.